Hey soulmates, welcome. On today's episode, I'm going to show you how I made this 3D leaf applique. Stay tuned. First of all, we're going to create the pattern, and for the pattern, we're going to fold our paper like so and come up by 4.5 inches. Then for the bottom, we're going to take half inch so that by the time we open up the fold, it's going to be 1 inch at the base. I hope you understand what I mean. And then next, we're going to find the midpoint of the 4.5 inches, which is 2.25 inches upwards. That's the midpoint. Next, you're going to draw a line projecting inwards from that midpoint. On that line, you're going to go in by 1.25 inches. This is the curve you're going to use to create the leaf shape, and then you're going to connect the points like so, and then you would cut out. When you cut it out, the sides will not be, properly curved, so you just use your pencil and curve it out so it has the shape of a real leaf. Using the pattern paper, you're going to draw out the shape of the leaf on your collar stay. Here we call it collar stay. Is a thick fusible interfacing. So you're going to draw out the shape of the leaf like so. Proceed to draw as many shapes as you would need. For my drawing, you can tell that I do not like to waste sewing materials. Go ahead and cut out the leaf shape like so. On the fabric you will be using, you're going to add an allowance, a sewing allowance of 0.25 inches, which is 1/4 of an inch. So use the fusible interfacing cutouts to get the shape of the flower. Notice that on the fabric, I already applied a softer fusible interfacing called paper stay. And then on this collar stay, there's obviously this part of it that is shiny, which has the gum, and the other side, which isn't shiny. You have to iron and sew down that part to one side of the leaf, and then the other side is going to serve as the main fabric. So the collar stay, which is, the leaf shape, the actual leaf shape, is going to be attached to the lining fabric, and then the main fabric is going to, stand out like so. This is the result when you sew down the collar stay to it, and then you're going to use the main material, the front material. You're going to sew down following the shape of the leaf like so. And then when you're done, you're going to leave a corner open, just a side of it open, just like we did here, so you can turn it over. And then when you're done, you're going to top stitch it. Don't worry about the stitch being visible. The cup chain, the embellishment is going to cover the stitch. And this is the result. Notice that the stitches are very close to the edge of the leaf so that the cup chain can cover it properly. And then next you proceed to, place your leaves and stack them in a way that they wouldn't they'll look neat, and then they'll come out looking very full. Just in case you're wondering, the name of the fabric I used to create these leaves is called Shiny Face Satin. So they have the doll face. If you're from Nigeria, you would understand. You'll know the name. So this is a thicker version of the regular satin that we use in making dresses. So it's called Shiny Face here in Nigeria. And then I used the paper stay to make it thicker. and then the name of the fabric we used inside to create the leaves is called a collar stay. It has more structure than, it gives the fabric more structure. It's a fusible interfacing that gives more structure than the regular paper stay or even hair stay. Continue to stack your leaves on the strap of the dress like I did here, but please make sure that whatever you do on one strap, you repeat the same procedure and arrangement on the other strap, just so that they look even as possible. For the embellishment of the leaf, we're going to use a cup chain. I used the pure gold cup chain. Your instant glue, I use T9000 glue. And your scissors, pencil, and ruler. So you're going to use the cup chain to create the midrib of the leaf and the veins of the leaf. At this point, T9000, where's my endorsement? So yeah, you're going to use your ruler and your pencil to draw, the midrib of the leaf and the veins like so. I used a pencil and a ruler just because I needed it to be, as clean and, straight as possible. This is what it looks like close up. So make sure you do this carefully, because when you use your pencil, and if you make a mistake, it will be very difficult to get the pencil stain off unless you wash it. Yeah, so apply your glue like so and place your cup chain, and then cut off the excess cup chain like so. Sometimes I like to leave just one extra section just in case. Drag your cup chain very well, just so it's very straight. Then for the corners, do the corners first before you start drawing the veins. Why? Because you want it to be smooth. You just want it to have a smooth flow. If you draw the veins, if you apply the veins first, that's the inner lines first, it would affect the flow of the corner like this. So just make sure you do it properly. Notice the way I use my fingers to control, the placement of the cup chain. Just make sure you do it well, and kindly pay attention so that when you have to do it, you do it properly. With this method, you do not have to use a wire walk or copper wire like some people call it. And then, it's still going to have the standing effect, which is important. If you've watched this video up to this point, kindly subscribe, like, share, leave a comment if this was helpful. Thank you. Oh, so beautiful. Look at that. These days, you need to be artistic to be in this fashion business. So I hope this was helpful. Look at that shine. And then, yeah, I started stacking the leaves. So in order for me to save cup chain, because cup chain is expensive, I stacked the leaves and then I started drawing the shapes as they were on the body according to their, exposure, how, it was going to show. So what I did was I only attached the cup chain to the parts of the leaves that were sticking out. So for the parts that were hidden, I didn't put, any cup chain on them. But feel free, if you can and if you want, you can put, the cup chain on all of them and then stack. But because I didn't want to exhaust all my cup chain, because it looks like it's little, but it consumed a lot of cup chain. Like, it consumed it. And then if you also want to reduce the amount of cup chain you have to use, then reduce the number of veins on the leaves. But I just felt like 3 sets of veins were appropriate to look like a proper leaf, because as we all know, leaves have a lot of veins and lines on them. So I just felt like 3 sets of lines were going to be good. So I proceeded with my needle and thread. I doubled my thread and then I started, attaching the leaf to the strap of the dress like so, using blind stitches. And then I was holding just the lining of, the ones that were revealing, so that the thread was not going to show in front, if you know what I mean. So I would use the needle, pick the back of the leaf and then attach it to the ones, on at the back, like so. Continue this procedure until you have secured all the leaves, making sure that even when the client is standing, the leaves do not, they don't fall or they don't, bend. They stand erect like they should. Also notice that when I was stitching, I was concentrating on the bottom of all the leaves. This is because I did not want my leaves to have one, structured or flat look. I wanted it to look, as realistic as possible. I wanted the bouquet to, stand out, look like, they were realistic. So when you start tacking the top parts, then the leaf becomes, the set of leaves becomes they just become very flat and rigid. You don't want them to look like that. You want them to look like, to give the 3D effect. Yeah. So this is the result when I was done stacking all of them and stitching them down. And voila, was ready to go to America. And as you can see, it was a perfect fit for my client. She was so happy. Thank you for watching. Kindly like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the section below. Bye, soulmates.